Sunsara, earlier you spoke about how Rise Up for Abortion Rights is calling on people to throw themselves upon the gears of the machinery because of the extremeness of this attack on taking away the right to abortion from women. And there have been actions around the country. We featured them in our last episode. And then we were pleased, actually tickled to find out and to see on the Young Turks a whole segment on these actions. And it's one, a chance to recap some of these actions, but two, you're getting to see the reaction of people who have a progressive liberal TV, YouTube show and online show reacting to people taking this kind of action. I think it should be instructive to people the impact it has when you take this kind of action. So let's watch.
The New York Football Giants
So what you saw was a bit of footage at a WNBA game. Those were topless protesters protesting for reproductive rights. They had signs that might not have been visible in the footage, but messages like "Hell no," "My body, my choice." Those were actually written on their bodies, painted on. They had signs of people in the stands saying things like "Overturn Roe," "Hell no," and "Abortion on demand and without apology." They were ushered out by security, but they represent a group called Rise Up for Abortion Rights, who put out a message about this saying, "This was the audience we wanted. We aren't protesting to change the hearts and minds of woman-hating fascists. No, we are calling on those who can stop the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the millions of people who support abortion rights. You, no business as usual, shut the country down." And I like it. Look, we constantly say every protest movement is told to do it in a more polite way. Don't be quite so loud, don't take up so much more space. It would be really nice if you would just protest over there somewhere. And no, they want people to see it. So doing it on the court, it's disruptive, sure, but that's kind of the point of protest.
Yeah, in the civil rights movement, they used to call it good trouble. You're never going to get change by doing it politely. That's not how it works. Remember the great quote by Frederick Douglass, power never concedes without a demand. Never has, it never will. So they're making a demand, and they also made a demand at Joel Osteen's church.
They did, actually. Why don't we jump ahead to a bit of that footage?
It's my body, my choice. It's my body, my choice.
Chapter 4,
Overturn Roe, hell no. My body, my choice. I am who I say I am. I do what I say I can do because I have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice.
I know this. I'm glad to be in the house of the Lord.
So as Cenk said, that was at Joel Osteen's church. I don't know how many people were in that crowd there. It was thousands and thousands of people there, though. I think they made a wise choice in doing underwear rather than fully topless. These are religious people. They might have absolutely lost their minds at a woman daring to bare their bodies. But they went to a place to draw attention to it. The stakes are as high as anything in politics is on the future of Roe v. Wade. This should be considered just the ground floor of what people should be doing. We should see 100 of those protests, 1,000 of those protests every single day.
Yes, on the other hand, this might turn into the right wing's favorite protest. Yeah, especially for the guys. I'm keeping it real. So we have a question for you guys, tyt.com/polls. Do you think that this is an effective method of protesting? So some will say, well, it's not the way I would want to do it. It's not just that it's not civil. It's in a sense giving the right wing men what they want. I think that they probably would find those women attractive, et cetera, et cetera. I think, hey, do every and all kind of protest that you can. Don't listen to anyone. Fight back. So I love their effort.
You know, I so appreciate how John from the damage report, he says, you know, we need hundreds of actions like this, hundreds of people. This is the bare minimum. And he's right. This is the kind of thing that anybody with some creativity and daring and a conscience can find the ways to do very creative things and things that are disruptive to business as usual, that call people out of their complacency and wake them up and inspire them. And exactly as they say, make good trouble and disrupt things, make people uncomfortable with their silence and complacency and get them moving. And I think, you know, what we want to do now is show you some people who you saw some of them in that footage, but some other people who have really disrupted their lives to come and be in DC and who are talking about why they came and why you need to come and why you need to spread the word. And people should spread this segment all over. Show your friends and your family and your coworkers this episode and this footage that we've shown so far, and of people calling on them to come to DC. We want to play some of the voices from on the ground here in front of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Hello, my name is Devin. I'm a student organizer with Rise Up for Abortion Rights. I've been organizing with their New York chapter for the past few months. And so this is a sort of spoken word speech that I wrote. Our movement. This is not our movement. This is the movement of our mothers and grandmothers. Our descendants rose up and made us free, made our bodies free. So why do we have to keep fighting? Why, after decades of liberation, have we turned the clocks back to the 1950s, telling us that we have no choice, that a potential life inside our life matters more than the lives we are living, that our freedom was a misgiving? Why is the right to choose something that we could lose when our bodies are under attack? There are wars killing hundreds every day. There are immigrants leaving their homes who can only pray that we will give them a place to stay. And what about the women? What about the people who are already on this earth? What about the children and adoption systems who have no home to call their own? Do their lives matter? When there is a seeing, breathing human being in need of aid and rights, why do you look to the cells that are so slight they barely even exist yet, but you want to fret and try to make us forget about the living, seeing, breathing, every human merely being people on this planet who should have rights, who should be protected by you, our government. Yes. But our government was never meant to protect those of our kind. The patriarchy protects by control. Freedom is only for the creators, the white men who the system was built for, who stifle our freedom and objectify our liberty so it becomes a privilege and not a right. I'll tell you why. They are afraid. They are afraid of our power. The power that feeds movements like it feeds children. The power that only grows, burning, and cannot be diffused. Though they have tried to stifle us out, they have called us witches, burnt us at the stake. They have demonized us from the very beginning with stories of Eve, making us believe that our power will only bring chaos. They put our black sisters in bondage, stole the land that we now stand from the indigenous women, and ripped their children away to control, to destroy, to erase.
Call your friends, call your family, get in the fucking streets.
That's right.
In the streets, being loud, being disruptive, no more business as usual.
Rise up for abortion rights! Rise up for abortion rights! For abortion rights, rise up!
Hi, I'm with Lori and Jess, who woke up at 3:30 in the morning. Tell us why you're here.
This is absurd. An abortion is a woman's right. It should be our right to choose to have an abortion or to not. Whatever we decide, women must decide our fate, and that is it.
Agreed 110%.
So I'm a flight attendant, and I've been watching our trip board and looking for trips. I get Rise Up for Abortion. I get information from them on my news feeds, and so I saw that they were meeting in DC today for a possible decision. So I looked for a DC layover, and I've done that in the past. I was in Chicago last week for the die-in, but if I get the timing right. So on my flight, I met Mia, who was also assigned to that flight. She came in from Salt Lake.
Yeah, Salt Lake City based.
Yes.
And just randomly, I asked her, what are you doing on the overnight? And she said, I'm coming here to support our rights to make a choice. And I said, yes, hell yes, let's do that. And we met each other literally a day ago. But it's so nice that you can have a connection within just a day. You just want to be able to fight for the things that you truly want. And I'm just very honored to be around these people. They're incredible.
And to be here and be able to stand up, and anybody can make it happen. Look in your city, look in your town, and if it isn't one, 2 or 3 people together becomes 10 and 20. So just we got to do it.
Let's be on the right side of history, please.
Come to DC! Come to DC! Come to DC!
in pain. They want to see us beneath their foot where they think we belong. So I'm here to break the foot.
Because the Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. And I gave up a lot. I have a birthday tomorrow. I love to do karaoke. I haven't had a big party in 2 years because of COVID, and I used to have big parties. And I had a big karaoke party planned, and I had a permit that I paid for. And I have a best friend who's fucking pissed off at me right now because I really didn't tell her that I'm not having that party tomorrow. Because when the call came out on Friday to come to DC, I changed my plans. I talked to my parents if they could help me with my childcare. I talked to my partner. I had plans to go on vacation at the end of June. I work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, so I can afford to go on vacation because I don't make enough to go on vacation. And I chucked those plans because it was clear that this court decision was going to come at the end of June. So when you tell yourself you don't have time to come down here, you have to ask yourself, what will you give up?
What is the line that you're not willing to cross? How far are you willing to let them go before you decide that enough is enough? Before you decide that you want to be here, that you want to be standing here with us. Because for all of us, it's been enough for a long time. And they may ask us, how long are you willing to stay? And to them, I have one answer: 1 day longer than the other side. That is how long I am willing to stay. And if you care about someone who is not you or someone who is you, come here now.
It was important to see all those voices. We need to see hundreds and thousands more of those voices in Washington, D.C. People got to come down by the busload, truckload, carload, plane load. We got to be in D.C. and heed the call of those people. Now we want to move.